Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is Saira Mujtaba, bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says New India's policies and strategies have opened doors for new opportunities. PM Modi holds telephonic conversation with his UK counterpart Rishi Sunak, raises issue of security of Indian diplomatic missions in UK. New Delhi asserts Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh are integral and inalienable parts of India and holding G20 meetings there is natural. Second W20 meet begins under India's G20 presidency in Jaipur. Over 120 women leaders participating to ensure women-led development. India retains top status in International Aviation Safety Assessment. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman calls upon World Bank to make global public goods as third goal at Development Committee meeting in Washington, D.C. Enforcement Directorate of India files case against BBC for suspected irregularities in foreign funding. In sports, Indian women wrestlers bagged 7 medals to finish third at the Asian Wrestling Championship in Astana, Kazakhstan. And in IPL cricket, match between Punjab Kings and Gujarat Titans underway in Mohali. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that today's New India is moving with policies and strategies that have opened the doors for new opportunities. He said the third decade of the 21st century is witnessing opportunities of employment and self-employment in India that were unimaginable earlier. The Prime Minister was speaking after distributing appointment letters to around 71,000 new recruits under the National Rozgar Mela through video conferencing on Thursday.
2014 के बाद से भारत ने प्रोएक्टिव अप्रोच अपनाई है. इसका नतीजा ये हुआ है कि 21वीं सदी का ये तीसरा दशक रोजगार और स्वरोजगार के वो अवसर पैदा कर रहा है जिनकी पहले कल्पना भी नहीं की जा सकती थी.
The Prime Minister said that the government is committed to giving the right opportunities to the talent and energy of youth to fulfill the vision of a developed India. He stressed that India is the fastest growing economy and the world is seeing India as a bright spot.
आज भारत दुनिया की सबसे तेज रफ्तार से आगे बढ़ने वाली अर्थव्यवस्था है. पूरी दुनिया कोविड के बाद मंदी से जूझ रही है. ज्यादातर देशों की अर्थव्यवस्था लगातार गिरती चली जा रही है. लेकिन इन सब के बीच भारत को दुनिया एक ब्राइट स्पॉट के तौर पर देख रही है.
The Prime Minister said Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan is an abhiyan of creating crores of employment opportunities from villages to cities. He added that more than 22,000 teachers were handed out appointment letters in Madhya Pradesh on Wednesday, and it's a proof of the government's commitment towards the youth of the nation. He said that after 2014, India adopted a proactive approach as opposed to the reactive stance of earlier times. Giving examples of startups and Indian youth's enthusiasm, the Prime Minister said that startups have created more than 40 lakh direct or indirect jobs. The Prime Minister urged the new appointees to contribute to the development of the country while the nation moves ahead with the goal of becoming a developed India by 2047. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a telephonic conversation with his UK counterpart Rishi Sunak on Thursday. Both the leaders reviewed the progress on a number of bilateral issues as part of the India-UK Roadmap 2030. They expressed satisfaction at the recent high-level exchanges and growing cooperation, particularly in trade and economic sectors. They agreed on the need for early conclusion of a mutually beneficial free trade agreement between the two countries. Mr. Modi raised the issue of security of Indian diplomatic establishments in the UK and called for strong action against anti-India elements by the UK government. The UK Prime Minister conveyed that the UK considers the attack on Indian High Commission totally unacceptable and assured of security of the Indian mission and its personnel. Mr. Modi also raised the issue of economic offenders who have sought refuge in the UK. He sought progress on the return of these fugitives so that they can appear before the Indian judicial system. Prime Minister Modi also invited Prime Minister Sunak for the G20 summit to be held in September this year. The UK Prime Minister appreciated the progress made under India's presidency of the G20 and reiterated UK's full support to India's initiatives and their success. Mr. Modi also conveyed greetings to Mr. Sunak and the Indian community in the UK on the eve of Baisakhi. New Delhi has reiterated that Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh are an integral and inalienable part of India, and holding G20 meetings in these places is quite natural for the country. Responding to Pakistan's criticism over India's move to host G20 meetings in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said, these G20 events and meetings are being held across the country.
ये जो G20 के इवेंट्स हो रहे हैं, ये जो मीटिंग्स हो रही हैं, ये भारत के हर क्षेत्र में हो रही हैं और जम्मू एंड कश्मीर में और लद्दाख में करना बहुत नेचुरल है, क्योंकि ये जगह हम हमेशा से भारत के अभिन्न और अविभाज्य अंग मानते हैं और हमारे हैं, इसीलिए हर क्षेत्र में कर रहे हैं.
Reacting on Khalistani violence in London against the Indian mission, Mr. Bagchi said, India wanted to see action on the ground. He said India is urging host countries, including the UK, to take action against those who vandalized the Indian flag, as well as the High Commission. He said India is pressing these countries to take measures to ensure security of the premises and safety of personnel.
We have been urging host countries, including the UK, to take action against those who vandalized the flag and as well as the High Commission, identify them, take action as the perpetrators. My suggestion would be ask them on what action they've taken. We are certainly pressing them to continue to take measures to ensure security of premises, security, safety of our personnel, diplomatic and consular personnel who are there in London. So, and this is the ongoing conversation that we are having with the UK authorities.
Expressing concern over the violence near Kanbalu township in the Sagaing region of Myanmar, Mr. Bagchi said India calls for cessation of violence by all sides and a peaceful resolution to all issues. He said India reiterates its call for the return of peace, stability and democracy in Myanmar.
We have seen disturbing reports of violence on April 11 near Kanbalu township in the Sagaing region, I think it's called, of Myanmar. As a neighbor and friend of the people of Myanmar, we have repeatedly called for cessation of violence by all sides and peaceful resolution of all issues. India reiterates its call for a return of peace, stability and democracy in Myanmar.
In Jammu and Kashmir, security forces have shot down a drone along the line of control in Rajouri. Our Jammu correspondent reports that suspicious movement of an aerial object was noticed in areas of Beri Patan and Siot along the LOC, after which security forces launched operations to bring down the drone. Ammunition, cash and other items have been recovered from a packet attached to the drone. Search operation is underway in many villages in the area and some more recoveries are expected. Our correspondent reports that such attempts at smuggling arms, cash and narcotics to fuel terror activities have become a major challenge for the security forces in the region. The second Women 20 international meeting started on Thursday at Jaipur in Rajasthan. The meeting is focused on the theme, Women's Role in Ensuring an Inclusive and Sustainable Future. Around 120 women leaders from 18 G20 countries are participating in the meeting. Elaborate discussions were made on topics related to gender equality and women empowerment on the first day of the two-day meeting. Addressing the inaugural session, India's G20 Sherpa Amitabh Kant said that women-led development is a key priority of India because we see women as drivers of prosperity and inclusive development. He said that women must set the agenda of development and they should be agents of growth.
G20 का सबसे महत्वपूर्ण इंगेजमेंट ग्रुप है और ये महत्वपूर्ण इसलिए है क्योंकि हमारी जो प्रायोरिटीज हैं उसमें विमेन लेड डेवलपमेंट एक बहुत बड़ी प्रायोरिटी है. माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो कहा है कि हमारी प्रेसिडेंसी बड़ी डिसाइसिव, इंक्लूसिव और एक्शन ओरिएंटेड होगी और उसमें विमेन लेड डेवलपमेंट बड़ा मेजर रोल प्ले करेगा. और ये जो चर्चा हो रही है विमेन लेड डेवलपमेंट की, इसमें डिजिटल इंक्लूजन, एम्पावरमेंट, सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ ऑफ विमेन और स्किलिंग और इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट पर बहुत फोकस किया गया है.
Speaking to the media, Mr. Amitabh Kant said that India has set new dimensions in digital inclusion, He cited the example of the Mudra Yojana, under which a large number of women are getting loans. Apart from the inaugural session, 3 more sessions were organized in the meeting. These sessions were focused on financial empowerment of women, digital and financial literacy, climate change and sustainable future. India has retained the highest international category for aviation safety. The International Aviation Safety Assessment Rating gave India a Category 1 status on the International Standards for Aviation Safety Oversight. The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, of the United States conducted an audit of the Directorate General of Civil Aviation under its Safety Assessment Program to determine whether a country complies with standards established by the International Civil Aviation Organization. The organization appreciated the DGCA for its commitment to ensuring safety of India's aviation system. Category 1 status countries are permitted to operate and expand their services to destinations in the US and code share with US air carriers. Hailing the development, the Ministry of Civil Aviation said, it has come at a time when the Indian aviation sector is on a high growth trajectory. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar has said all citizens have to work together for global development, peace and harmony, as no nation can progress in isolation. Citing the example of climate change, he said that it has made everyone realize that the world is one and dangers of climate change have to be countered collectively for the safe future of entire humanity. The Vice President made these remarks during an interaction with a delegation of young leaders from France India Foundation at his residence in New Delhi on Thursday. During the interaction, Mr. Dhankar asked the young leaders from both the countries to work together for societal and economic development for the larger benefit of humanity. Ambassador of France to India, Emmanuel Lenain, was also present along with senior officials from the Vice President's Secretariat and Ministry of External Affairs. And in today's Hotspot section, we bring you a news commentary on India and France, trusted friends and partners.
India and France have traditionally close and friendly relations. In 1998, the two countries entered into a strategic partnership, which is emblematic of their convergence of views on a range of international issues, apart from a close and growing bilateral relationship. The areas of defense cooperation, space cooperation, and civil nuclear cooperation constitute the 3 principal pillars of our strategic partnership. Apart from these traditional fields of cooperation, India and France are increasingly engaged in new areas of cooperation like climate change, sustainable growth and development, and the International Solar Alliance. India and France support a multipolar world order. France has continued to support India's claim for permanent membership of the Security Council and the reforms of the United Nations. France has provided consistent support to India's candidature for membership in all 4 multilateral export control regimes, namely Nuclear Suppliers Group (NSG), the Missile Technology Control Regime (MTCR), the Wassenaar Arrangement (WA), and the Australia Group (AG). France's support was vital in India's accession to MTCR, WA, and AG, while France continues to support India's bid for accession to the NSG. Both India and France have important bilateral investments and trade and commercial cooperation. Almost 1,000 French companies are present in India with a total turnover of $20 billion. French companies have more than 25 R&D centers in India. India's Minister of Commerce and Industry, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution and Textiles, Piyush Goyal, has said that France and India have truly been friends, partners and vibrant democracies working for global good during his address at the India-France Business Summit in Paris, France today. He said that Emmanuel Macron, President of the French Republic, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have strengthened the strategic partnership between the two countries, which has completed 25 years now. The minister said both leaders have taken India-France ties to the next level with expanded engagement in trade, technology, tourism and investment. He noted that the friendship between the leaders and the people of both countries is a force multiplier for global good. The minister said India and France are concerned with stable global economic order and both believe in consensus and cooperation both at the regional and global levels. He said the business leaders from both countries and the Indian community in France have further strengthened this bond of friendship and trust between India and France through their relentless efforts to expand the trade and economic partnership. The minister said India's potential over the next 25 years has been termed the Amrit Kal or the golden era of India by Prime Minister Modi. He said there is a huge delta of opportunities which has never been seen in global economic history in India now. He cited the example of India's demographic dividend with significant managerial and technological skills and an immense talent pool. Mr. Goyal said the basic needs of Indian citizens have been taken care of in the last 9 years, and that has led to an empowered nation, brimming with aspirations. He said that seamless digital connectivity has aided this process, and now India offers a huge opportunity to businesses around the world. He said India offers scale, speed and skills to the world. The minister said India is rapidly expanding its international engagement and the goods and services exports over the last 2 years have grown significantly. He said the increase in exports is expected to continue on its high growth trajectory. He also said India has an infrastructure pipeline to strengthen logistics in the country. He said India is attracting investment and technology in the defence sector from around the world as indigenous manufacturing is being promoted. He said innovation and technology are driving growth in India with sustainability at the core. He said the green economy is emerging as a massive thrust area for technology and investments. The minister noted that in addition to this, the government is also focusing on gender parity and gender equality in India. Mr. Goyal said India and France will continue their dialogue at an accelerated pace with trade and investment expanding manifold to further aid the development journey. He quoted Prime Minister Narendra Modi and said, "When you associate with India's growth journey, India gives you the guarantee of growth."
That was a Hotspot section. This is All India Radio giving you the world news. Welcome back. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman attended the Development Committee meeting of the World Bank (IMF) in Washington, D.C. on Thursday. In a series of tweets, the Ministry of Finance said that Ms. Sitharaman stated that New Delhi remains concerned about the global economic outlook and the geopolitical environment despite projections of growth rate of over 6% for the Indian economy this year. The Finance Minister stressed that the World Bank should continue to work for its vision of a world free of poverty and ending extreme poverty and promoting shared prosperity in a manner that is inclusive, resilient and sustainable. She also suggested that the global public goods should also be brought into focus as the third goal. India's overall exports are projected to scale new heights in the financial year 2022-23, registering a growth of 13.84% over financial year 2021-22. It is estimated to achieve $770.18 billion worth of exports in the last financial year, despite the global headwinds and steady domestic demand. India's overall export was over $676 billion in the fiscal year 2021-22. According to the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, merchandise exports have registered the highest ever annual exports of over $447 billion, with over 6% growth during the financial year 2022-23. The ministry said services exports lead the overall exports growth and are projected to set a new record worth $322.72 billion, with growth rate at 26.79% during the last financial year. The ministry has informed that China's share in the country's merchandise imports have declined to 13.79% in the financial year 2022-23 from 15.43% in 2021-22. Imports of electronic goods from China has also seen a declining trend of around $2 billion in 2022-23 compared to financial year 2021-22. Import from China in terms of electronic goods has declined from 48.1% in 2021-22 to 41.9% in 2022-23. The Enforcement Directorate of India has registered a case against the British Broadcasting Corporation (BBC) in India for irregularities in foreign funding on Thursday. As per sources, the agency has called for documents and statements of certain company executives under the Foreign Exchange Management Act. The probe is looking at suspected violations of foreign direct investment rules by the BBC. The IT department had earlier searched BBC office premises in Delhi and Mumbai in February this year for suspected tax avoidance. The second quadrilateral meeting of Iran, Russia, China and Pakistan on Afghanistan is being held on Thursday in Samarkand, Uzbekistan, on the sidelines of the fourth meeting of Afghanistan's neighboring countries. Foreign ministers of the four countries are taking part in the meeting and will discuss the situation in Afghanistan. A statement is expected at the end of the meeting. The first quadrilateral meeting was held on 16 September 2022 on the sidelines of the Shanghai Summit in Dushanbe, the capital of Tajikistan. A number of Asian nations are witnessing surge in COVID-19 infections as the region treats the virus as endemic, with the fresh wave exerting limited pressure on healthcare systems. Singapore's infections almost doubled in the final week of March to the highest this year, data from the Ministry of Health showed. Indonesia's daily caseload is near a 4-month high, and Vietnam is ramping up virus prevention measures. While infections are rising, countries across Asia are attributing the wave to a mix of XBB subvariants, a highly transmissible Omicron strain that so far is not causing widespread severe illness. In Singapore, which dropped most mask mandates in February due to the significantly reduced threat from COVID, weekly cases topped 28,000 by the end of March, up from 14,467 a week earlier. Indonesia's caseload has risen in recent months as the government eased mobility curbs, with daily infections reaching 987 on Wednesday. President Joko Widodo has urged citizens to take a second booster shot. Vietnam's health ministry ordered new preventive measures at schools and close monitoring at border gates to detect cases and prevent community spread after reporting 639 new cases in the past 7 days, a roughly 4-fold increase from a week earlier. Meanwhile, cases in the Philippines have plateaued since February and there was just a single COVID death in March. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said North Korea has fired one mid-range or longer ballistic missile from near Pyongyang into the waters off the east coast of the Korean peninsula on Thursday morning. Japanese Defense Minister Yasukazu Hamada said the missile may have been a type of intercontinental ballistic missile or ICBM. Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi has said that Tamil culture has played an important role in nation building. He said there is so much in Tamil culture that has shaped India as a nation. He was addressing the gathering on the occasion of Tamil New Year celebrations at the residence of Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting, Dr. L. Murugan, in New Delhi on Thursday. Highlighting the role of Tamil people, culture and literature in nation building, Mr. Modi said, Tamil is the world's oldest language and its literature is widely respected.
From Chennai to California, from Madurai to Melbourne, from Coimbatore to Cape Town, from Salem to Singapore, you will find Tamil people who have carried with them their culture and traditions. Be it Pongal or Puthandu, they are marked all over the world. Tamil is the world's oldest language. Every Indian is proud of this.
The Prime Minister said India is the mother of democracy and Tamil people played an instrumental role in the freedom struggle and in nation building since independence. He said the Kashi Tamil Sangamam has been a resounding success. India's Union Minister of State for Tourism Shripad Nayak inaugurated the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Millet Food Festival in Mumbai on Thursday. Various chefs from India, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia and Uzbekistan have prepared various traditional cuisines using millets in this festival. India is hosting the presidency of SCO for the year 2023. Mr. Naik also congratulated Kazakhstan for the next SCO presidency and assured that India would always continue its efforts for making tourism a successful sector in the SCO region. The festival is organized by the Ministry of Tourism and will go on till the 19th of April in Mumbai. Hotel Taj Mahal Palace is hosting this festival to commemorate the International Year of Millets. India's Information and Broadcasting Secretary Apurva Chandra has said that OTT platforms have made Indian content more popular. Speaking at an event organized by Asia Video Industry Association in Mumbai on Thursday, the Secretary said that OTT has made Indian content more accessible to a global audience through dubbing in various languages. And in Indian business market, key domestic share indices ended marginally higher today after remaining in red for most of the session. The BSE Sensex closed above 60,400 points while the NSE Nifty settled near 17,800 level. Both benchmark indices gained amid mixed global cues. A report.
Sensex rose by 38 points, 0.06% to finish at 60,431, while Nifty at the National Stock Exchange gained 16 points, 0.1% to settle at 17,828. Asian stocks ended mixed, dragged by selling in Hong Kong tech shares, while the dollar was under pressure and short-dated bonds were firm, as softening U.S. inflation seemed to suggest the U.S. rate hike cycle was nearing its end. South Korea's Kospi Index added 0.4%, Japan's Nikkei 225 and Singapore's Straits Times Index both gained 0.3% each. Hong Kong's Hang Seng advanced 0.2%. However, China's Shanghai Composite Index fell 0.3%. European markets were also trading mixed in intraday trade. Oil prices were stable in intraday trade as the market weighed the prospect of a tight supply against a possible recession in the United States, the world's largest oil consumer. Brent crude was trading at around $87.22 per barrel. Back home, the gold prices at the multi-commodity exchange for June contracts was trading at around 60,897 rupees per 10 grams. Silver was trading at around 76,302 rupees per kilogram for May contracts. In the foreign exchange market, the rupee appreciated by 23 paise to close at 81 rupees and 85 paise against the US currency. Arjun Chaudhary for World News, All India Radio.
On to sports now. In IPL cricket, chasing a target of 154 runs set by Punjab Kings, Gujarat Titans were 120 for 3 in 16 overs in Mohali when reports last came in. Earlier, Gujarat Titans won the toss and elected to field. Punjab Kings scored 153 for 8 wickets in the stipulated 20 overs. For Punjab, Matthew Short was the highest scorer, who made 36 runs off 24 balls. Indian women wrestlers have bagged 7 medals, 2 silver and 5 bronze in Asian Wrestling Championships at Astana in Kazakhstan and finished third in women's teams ranking. In the last edition, India had won 5 medals and settled at the 4th spot. Antim Panghal won silver in 53 kg category. Nisha Dahiya also claimed silver in 68 kg category. Anshu Malik, Sonam Malik, Manisha and Ritika bagged bronze medals. And now let's take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. The Guardian writes, Macron returns to more protests in France on eve of pensions ruling. The Wall Street Journal reports, LVMH's Paris headquarters stormed by protesters. Demonstrations against Macron's pension overhaul spill over into other facets of France's establishment. The Globe and Mail reports, Haitians deported from Dominican Republic see danger and despair on both sides of the border. The Globe and Mail also reports, Trudeau Foundation to review China-linked donation. The Financial Times writes, Brazil's Lula calls for end to dollar trade dominance. Le Monde writes, Mary Quant, designer who popularized the miniskirt, dies. And Financial Times writes, Royal Bank of Canada becomes top financier for fossil fuel industry. And now a quick look at the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says New India's policies and strategies have opened doors for new opportunities. PM Modi holds telephonic conversation with his UK counterpart Rishi Sunak, raises issue of security of Indian diplomatic missions in UK. New Delhi asserts Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh are integral and inalienable part of India, and holding G20 meetings there is natural. India retains top status in International Aviation Safety Assessment. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman calls upon World Bank to make global public goods as third goal at Development Committee meeting in Washington, D.C. And in sports, Indian women wrestlers bagged 7 medals to finish third at the Asian Wrestling Championship, and an IPL cricket match between Punjab Kings and Gujarat Titans underway in Mohali. And now before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan, Vaishnav Jan, by artists from South Africa. And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.